Okay, welcome back guys, and it's another week and with another video on the journey of a software engineer in Tanzania. So in this week and since last week and since I posted the last video, nothing fancy has happened because I've been waiting for my loan, and actually it has been a bad week for me since I believe I've not get a loan, and all they tell me is that I have to keep waiting and my time is running out because the reporting day is tomorrow and I haven't figured my stuff out well. But I believe I have to find another option. So I'll be paying my fees on my own without a loan. Yeah, if they are not going to give me a loan until today, I think I'll be paying loans on my I'll be paying the fees on my own. So that's all that has happened since last week, and I kept struggling with my projects, and I'm trying to meet up my own deadlines. That's all stuff that matters. And another thing is that I've tried to collect some of the topics and things that we'll be learning as software engineers. Actually, they're not exactly or accurately what we are going to study, but it's the most probable things that we'll be studying as software engineers. So there are 4 long years, and you can ask yourself, what what are you going to study in all those 4 years, while somebody can start an online course and finish almost 4 programming languages in 1 year. So why spend all the 4 years at the university? So I tried to find the things that we are going to study in all the 4 years. If there's anything that is missing, yeah, just drop your comments and tell me this thing is missing, and I'll be glad to hear from you. So the things that we are going to study are as follows, and these are probably what we may learn in software engineering, not that it's a must that all of these things or only these things are the one that we are going to study. So I try to arrange them in a chronological order so that from the very first time we start learning until the end. They seem to be very few, but I believe it's a, it's a very long way, very long way to go. So we'll be starting with principles of marketing. I'm not a fan of marketing, so actually I have no idea about what we're going to study here. Then we have cryptography, steganography, and watermarking. I believe these are security stuffs, and in cybersecurity we'll be enjoying this topic. Then we'll have business mathematics. Actually, I still don't have an idea about business and marketing, so business mathematics is kind of a new thing to me. Then discrete mathematics, yeah, I believe I can do something there, although I don't know what we're going to study. Then we have business law and ethics. So as you're a software engineer or a software developer, I believe that you have to create something that doesn't go against the law. So business law and ethics is a vital thing to study as a software engineer. Then we have e-business strategy, architecture, and design. Electronic business. Many transactions currently are performed in electronically on the internet and stuff like that. So we have to understand how they are made, how to design, and the strategy that we take in designing them and bringing e-business to life. Then we have professional ethics and conduct. So after the 4 long years you have stayed to obtain your degree, after that you become a pro. So you have to study and know how a pro lives, how a pro conducts his stuff. So it's good to study this because we'll be know how how to live like a pro, I can say that. Okay, we have linear algebra, okay, another mathematics thing. And then ICT project management. It's not always just about coding, it's about the whole project as a whole. So we have to understand how to manage the project, managing the teams that will be undertaking the project and stuff like that. It will be fun actually to study this topic. Then we have wireless and mobile communication. We actually have to understand how wireless communication takes place and how mobile communication takes place. And the most commonly used mobile device that we have is our mobile phones, the smartphones. So it's almost 90% of Tanzanians own mobile phones, I can say. So we have to target where the market of software products can be placed. It's in the mobile system. So we have to understand the mobiles and communication through mobile, how it takes place. It's very vital for a software engineer. Then we have digital image processing. I believe we'll be having something, and we'll be learning something called OpenCV. I can say it's a framework that is very, very common and famous in digital image processing and face recognition, digital image recognition, stuff like that. I believe it's going to be very, very interesting in studying this. Then we have analog and digital electronics. Yeah, it's this part is actually not based on the software part of the computer, but it's mainly based on the hardware part of the computer. But the hardware and the software are actually inseparable. So for one to function, it needs the other. So it's very good if a software developer or a software engineer has at least a basic understanding of analog and digital electronics that make up the hardware part of the computer. Then we have antenna and wave propagation. We have to understand how radio waves, as the most basic and most common used form of communication, work in this world. It will be very good. The electromagnetic theory of radiation and the electromagnetic spectrum, things like that, will be studying here. Then we have computer aided design. It's a tool that I believe is mostly used by people who design buildings, architects, and then who design roads and, yeah, structures like that. I don't yet understand what it can be used in software engineering, but I believe, yeah, that's why we are going to the university, to study something new. Then you have communication skills for scientists. As a scientist, or as an engineer, you have to understand how to speak like an engineer. Your speaking way has to be distinct from just any other person's way of speaking. It has to be very professional. So how do scientists communicate? Not just speaking, but also in writing. You have to be different from a lawyer. You have to be different from any other regular person. So this part is, I can say, it's personality development in software engineering. Then we have development perspective. Actually, the whole process of development, system development, I can say, and the actual processes that are taking place in system development, problem analysis, problem definition, and, yeah, I believe those are just some of them. I'm not exactly sure of what I'm talking about. I'm just saying from a matter of experience and my 1 week research. I believe those are the description of what is highlighted there. Then, for the first time after a very, very long time and after a very, very way of study, we have C++, an actual programming language. So for those of us who are expecting to code where as software engineers, it's going to take a bit of a long time until we start actual coding. Then we'll have data structures and algorithm. And without forgetting, C++ is a kind of a good language because it's mid-level language. It has features of high-level languages like Java, which means it's object-oriented, and also it has features of C, which means it's a low-level language. It can easily interact with the hardware. So it's a very good language for software engineers. Then we have data structures and algorithms. How data can be organized in and how can we utilize it effectively. The most effective way of organizing data, storing it, and the most effective way of using the data or utilizing the data. Then we have principles of cybersecurity. So when you create a software or an application, you have to make sure it's secure. So if you're handling user data or any other stuff, you have to make sure they are actually secure. And with the recent uprising in cyber terrorism and cyber attacks, you have to be very, very careful about the security of your application. So it's going to be an interesting topic to learn, cybersecurity. Yeah, those who hack and Kali Linux pros are going to be interested in this part. Then we have entrepreneurship. So after the 4 years, we do not only expect to be employed, we may employ ourselves. So we have to understand entrepreneurship so that we can bring our dreams to life by running them on our own, not that we only have to wait to be employed. And then we have system analysis and design, that's self-explanatory. And then we have database management system, a very crucial part, because at every point of your system of an application development of software engineering, there is data that is handled. So it has to be stored and organized and utilized, stuffs like that. So it is very, very crucial if we understand database management systems. Then we have network routes and routing protocols, and then we have network protocols. These are kind of similar, but they are actually different. But I'm going to speak on the network protocols which I'm familiar with. So we have the way data is transferred in a compute through computers in communication media. It has to follow some set of rules and regulations, I can say. So those are the network protocols. We have the hypertext transfer protocol, we have the file transfer protocol, we have the simple mail transfer protocol, etc, etc, etc. Then we have human computer interaction, how the liveware, the human, interacts with the hardware and the software. It's very, very important to study this part, because if you have the best hardware but it interacts very poorly with the human, then it's of no use. So we have to understand these parts very well. Then we have embedded systems, and then we have software metrics. I actually don't know, even I don't even have a clue about what software metrics is going to talk about, but that's why we are going to university again to study. So it's going to be a very, very new thing to me. Yeah, okay. And then we have internet programming and application. The internet has been growing very fast in current era, so we have to understand how to take advantage of it, creating internet application, internet programs. So it's going to be very important with the current growing technology. And then we have knowledge management. So we have learned for all the 4 years, education has become knowledge, but unorganized knowledge is not useful, and it can only lead to madness. But when we understand knowledge management for both the software, which has maybe a knowledge base, or the human himself or we ourselves, it has the same advantages. We get to use the knowledge efficiently instead of using it poorly when it was unorganized. So we have to understand how to manage knowledge. And then we have electronic and mobile commerce. So mobile commerce has become very common in the recent times. So we have to keep up with recent technologies, learning electronic and mobile commerce, commonly known as e-commerce, and many applications have been developed to perform e-commerce, like Kiku, maybe eBay, and then we have Amazon. Yeah, so they all work on the principles of e-commerce. So we have to understand how e-commerce takes place and how stuffs like that occur. and how actually to design a system like that, because that's what we are there for. And that's going to be the end of our 4 long years of study, but I believe they'll be interesting. So there is no more for today in this video. I believe in next week I'll be in the university. I'll try to show you guys some videos or pictures depending on the conditions. So if I'll be in extreme conditions, I'll be taking photos. If I'll be in free conditions, I'll be recording videos. But all in all, I wish to see you all in the university, and I believe our journey as software engineers is going to be interesting, both for me, the learner, and you, who is my follower. Okay, see you till next time.